In a world where words can kill and silence can seduce, power doesn't belong to the loud. It belongs to the aware. Every glance, every pause, every word you choose is either a weapon or a weakness. Women don't fall for charm. They fall for control, emotional, psychological, invisible. To master the art of talking to women, you must first master the art of your own darkness. This isn't about pickup lines. It's about psychological warfare. Subtle, elegant, ruthless. Welcome to the deadly art of talking to women, where Machiavelli meets desire and silence becomes your sharpest blade.
Power. It's not something you hold in your hands. It's something that exists in the minds of others. The most dangerous illusion in human interaction is the belief that power is loud, visible, or physical. Machiavelli knew better. He understood that true power doesn't need to announce itself. It whispers through presence. It radiates from calm. It manifests when you no longer chase approval, when you no longer seek validation from anyone, especially from women. The moment you try to win someone over, you've already lost, because desire, like fear, only follows those who do not need it. This is the foundation of Machiavellian psychology, the ability to shape perception while appearing effortless, to command without speaking, to attract without pursuing. A man who chases becomes predictable. A man who waits becomes intriguing. A man who withdraws becomes powerful. Women, like all humans, are wired to sense hierarchy, not consciously, but instinctively. They feel it in the subtext of your tone, in the rhythm of your speech, in the way your eyes hold theirs or refuse to. And in that silent dance, your energy either claims space or surrenders it. Most men surrender it. They don't even realize it. They think being kind, available, or emotionally open equals connection. But connection born of need is always weakness in disguise. Machiavelli once wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But in the art of attraction, fear isn't about intimidation, it's about respect. Respect is born from boundaries. Boundaries are born from detachment. You don't win a woman's attention by offering her everything. You win it by offering less than expected, by making her imagination work harder than your words. The mind craves what it can't fully grasp. The most dangerous man in the room is the one who reveals nothing but suggests everything. Power without power means becoming unavailable to emotional manipulation. It's the art of making your energy scarce. When something is rare, it becomes valuable. When something is too available, it loses meaning. This is not cruelty, it's psychology. People only invest deeply when they sense risk. A man who gives himself too easily removes the risk. He removes the thrill. A man who holds back, not from fear, but from control, creates emotional gravity. Women don't fall for words, they fall for frames. A frame is your inner world, your belief system, your energy field. It's how you interpret the world around you. And here's the secret. People always conform to the stronger frame. If her frame is based on emotion and yours is based on calm dominance, her energy will align to yours. If you mirror her emotions, if you react, if you explain, you lose the frame. Every time you react, you tell her, "You control my state." And that is the death of attraction. To embody Machiavellian psychology is to live as if every interaction is a chess game, not out of paranoia, but out of awareness. You observe patterns, you predict moves, you never play your piece first. She tests you not because she hates you, but because she wants to feel something real. Testing is how women measure your emotional stability. When she provokes you, she's not seeking a fight, she's seeking evidence of power. If you stay calm, if you smirk instead of defend, if you let silence answer for you, you pass the test. Most men collapse under pressure because they mistake emotional comfort for connection. But comfort kills desire. Tension creates it. Power without power is about mastering tension, knowing when to speak and when silence becomes the louder message. Every pause, every breath, every look, it all communicates something. And when you master your tone, when your body language speaks restraint, you create an aura of danger and calm at once. She will feel drawn to it without understanding why, because the human mind is addicted to what it can't fully grasp. Your unpredictability becomes the source of her fascination. Machiavelli would call it strategic ambiguity. Never reveal all your cards. Never explain yourself. Never argue to prove your worth. The moment you start justifying, you concede dominance. A Machiavellian man does not seek love, he commands respect and lets love emerge as a side effect. He is emotionally sovereign. He does not chase validation, he creates gravity. And that gravity bends the social dynamic in his favor. He knows that people crave what they can't fully possess, so he allows just enough warmth to ignite curiosity, then pulls away to keep the flame alive. That rhythm, approach, withdraw, approach again, is the dance of dominance. In this dance, he becomes the mirror. He reflects her energy, not to please her, but to reveal her to herself. He becomes the frame in which she feels more alive, more feminine, more emotional. And once she associates that emotional intensity with him, he becomes unforgettable. Power without power means being centered in chaos. While others rush to fill silence, you stay still. While others seek reassurance, you breathe. While others crumble under rejection, you turn it into fuel. Rejection to a Machiavellian mind is not a wound, it's information. It shows you what people value. It reveals weakness in their armor. It teaches you to adjust your strategy, not your self-worth. Because true control starts with emotional indifference, not coldness, but mastery. You don't suppress emotion, you own it. You feel deeply, but you choose when to express. That choice, that restraint, is what separates the ordinary from the powerful. The essence of Machiavellian psychology is strategic self-control. When you stop reacting to the world starts reacting to you. When you no longer need approval, people start giving it freely. When you stop chasing attention, attention becomes magnetic to you. This is the paradox of power. The less you appear to need it, the more it bends toward you. And women, whether they admit it or not, are drawn to the man who seems unmoved by them, not because he doesn't care, but because he has purpose beyond them. A man with purpose doesn't talk to impress. He speaks when it matters. His silence holds more weight than another man's flattery. His attention becomes a reward, not a habit. So what is power without power? It's the art of control disguised as ease. It's presence that commands even when you say nothing. It's confidence without noise, dominance without aggression, influence without effort. It's walking into a room and not needing to be noticed, yet everyone feels your presence. It's looking at a woman not as a prize, but as a reflection of how composed you are. It's understanding that you are not here to impress, you're here to express mastery. Machiavelli would say, "He who controls perception controls reality." And in the art of talking to women, perception is everything. The power is not in what you say, it's in what she feels when you say nothing. Power without power. The calm beneath the storm. The silence that commands the room. The gaze that says, "I know who I am." When you master that, you no longer talk to women to win them. You talk them to remind them that they've never met a man like you before. Attention is the quietest form of power.
It decides who is heard, who is forgotten, and who shapes the story that everyone else follows. Machiavelli would have understood this long before social media or neon lights. He knew that men rise and fall not by strength alone, but by how skillfully they command perception. Yet perception is not seized through noise, it is drawn through stillness. The dark mirror is that stillness. It is the moment when you realize that the world is only reflecting the quality of your own awareness. What you focus on expands. What you neglect decays. Whoever learns to direct his focus learns to direct his fate. Every human being is a transmitter of attention. Our eyes search for movement, for confidence, for signs of emotional certainty. When you walk into a room, before you speak, people already read your energy. They notice whether your gestures are controlled or restless, whether your breathing announces tension or calm. The mind behind your eyes tells its story long before your tongue begins to speak. In that brief, invisible moment, power shifts. If you are centered, attention flows to you. If you are desperate for it, it slips away. Mastering attention begins with mastering your own restlessness. Most people chase reactions. They talk too much, laugh too loudly, fill silence because silence exposes insecurity. But silence, when embraced, becomes an instrument. It frames your words in gold. It tells the world that you are not afraid of stillness because you are not afraid of yourself. The man who can stand comfortably in his own quiet is already magnetic. Others feel it as gravity. Control is not about domination. It is about direction. When your thoughts are scattered, your presence dissolves. When your focus is deliberate, people feel guided, even without understanding why. The difference between noise and influence is intention. Influence whispers, noise pleads. The first demands nothing and receives everything. The second demands everything and receives nothing. The dark mirror asks you to notice what you project when you speak. Do your eyes reveal need or certainty? Does your voice tremble for approval or carry the calm of conviction? The mirror shows that others do not truly see you. They see how you make them feel. If your energy communicates steadiness, they experience safety. If it communicates hunger, they experience pressure. People move instinctively toward balance and away from chaos. Therefore, your greatest leverage lies not in clever words, but in emotional composure. Attention once given must be treated as sacred. To demand it constantly is to cheapen it. To hold it too loosely is to lose it. The dance lies in rhythm. Give enough presence to create warmth. Withdraw enough to preserve mystery. That rhythm is not manipulation, it is harmony, the same pulse that governs the tide and the heartbeat. When you respect that rhythm, connection feels effortless. When you ignore it, communication becomes struggle. Every great leader, artist, or lover understands this instinctively. They know that attention follows authenticity. Pretending to be confident only produces tension. Embodying purpose dissolves it. People are drawn to clarity, to someone whose actions and words align. That alignment creates resonance, and resonance attracts without pursuit. The dark mirror also teaches humility. To command attention ethically, you must understand the fragility of perception. You cannot own another's gaze. You can only inspire it. The moment you try to hold it by force, it turns into resistance. Influence born of fear is temporary. Influence born of respect endures. Machiavelli wrote about the balance of fear and love, but beneath those words lies a deeper truth. Respect is what unites the two. When you act from integrity, respect follows naturally, and attention follows respect. Self-awareness is the heart of this art. Notice how your inner dialogue shapes the outer world. When you tell yourself that you must impress,
You radiate anxiety. When you tell yourself that you have nothing to prove, you radiate ease. Ease is rare, and rarity always draws curiosity. To master attention, then, is to master your inner climate, to regulate the storms of emotion until your calm becomes contagious. Sometimes mastery means knowing when to disappear. When presence becomes overwhelming, absence restores value. Withdrawal is not weakness, it is refinement. The greatest musicians know the power of a pause. The greatest speakers know when to stop talking. And the greatest minds know when silence says more than explanation. In a conversation, restraint amplifies everything that remains unsaid. The listener leans forward. Imagination fills the gaps. That is not manipulation. It is art. Machiavelli might have smiled at this paradox. The less you chase attention, the more it pursues you. True power is invisible until it is tested. You can sense it in the one who listens longer than others, who reacts slower, who answers after thinking rather than defending on impulse. This composure unsettles those who depend on chaos to feel significant. It is the composure of someone who understands that control is an inner equation, not an external victory. To practice the dark mirror is to study contrast. Notice how tension builds when you slow your voice, how interest peaks when you break eye contact for a heartbeat, how trust deepens when you allow silence to breathe between sentences. These subtleties cannot be faked because they emerge from genuine centeredness. Your nervous system teaches others how to treat you. If it is calm, theirs will mirror it. If it is frantic, theirs will echo it. Thus, the true mirror is biological as much as psychological. Over time, you begin to feel a new rhythm in conversation. Words become instruments. Attention becomes music. You no longer speak to fill space, but to carve shape from silence. You notice that some people relax around you, while others become uneasy. Both are signs that your presence has weight. Weight does not come from dominance, but from authenticity. The more genuine you are, the more your energy settles, and the world organizes itself around that stability. The dark mirror is not about learning tricks of influence. It is about remembering that you are already influencing, every second, through posture, tone, and intention. The only question is whether you do it consciously. Awareness turns random interaction into deliberate art. Every glance, every nod becomes part of the composition you conduct. In the end, mastering attention is less about others and more about responsibility. When people give you their focus, they entrust you with part of their time, the only resource they can never regain. Treat that gift with precision. Use your words to build, not to drain. Let your silence restore peace, not anxiety. Influence used ethically becomes leadership. Used selfishly, it becomes corruption. The dark mirror shows both faces, and it demands you choose which one to become. Power is not found in capturing the spotlight, but in illuminating what matters when the spotlight turns your way. The mirror darkens only to reveal reflection. Its lesson is not dominance, but self-command. When you can hold your focus steady in the presence of noise, when you can see yourself clearly in the reflection of others without distortion, you have mastered the rarest skill of all, the art of conscious attention. The dark mirror does not ask the world to look at you. It asks you to look inward until the calm within you becomes the calm the world reflects.
Power that begins in the mind ends in the heart. To rule emotions is not to suppress them, but to understand their language so completely that they no longer rule you. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the one who prepares for its storms. Emotional power is that preparation. It is the ability to remain deliberate when everyone else reacts, to keep clarity when chaos rises. Many think of emotions as enemies of reason. They are not. They are instruments, and the man who learns to play them with precision commands a symphony that others call charisma. Emotional power begins with awareness. Most people move through life as if dragged by invisible tides, anger pulling them one way, desire another. They mistake movement for mastery, yet movement without direction is surrender. The first step toward mastery is observation, seeing the wave before it hits. When you can name what you feel without becoming it, you stand at the edge of freedom. Awareness breaks hypnosis. From awareness comes restraint. Restraint is often misunderstood as coldness. In truth, it is generosity. You withhold reaction not to hide feeling, but to give space for wisdom to speak before impulse takes control. The pause between emotion and expression is where power lives. In that pause, you decide whether your words will heal or harm, whether your silence will teach or wound. Every leader, lover, and creator who endures learns this discipline. The world responds not to what you feel, but to how you manage what you feel. A calm presence in a storm becomes the axis around which others revolve. They sense stability and are drawn to it, as sailors to a lighthouse. Machiavelli understood that fear and love are both responses to perceived control. Emotional steadiness creates both. Fear of losing your approval, love for the safety your presence provides. Yet ethical power does not exploit these responses. It honors them. It uses stability to elevate, not to dominate. To cultivate such stability, you must befriend discomfort. Emotional power is forged in the furnace of tension, rejection, uncertainty, delay. Each is a test of sovereignty. When you resist the urge to flee from pain or grasp at pleasure, you reclaim the territory of your own mind. Pleasure and pain then become advisors, not masters. This is the silent revolution of self-command. The emotionally powerful man listens more than he speaks, not because he lacks opinions, but because he values precision over noise. He reads tone before content, intention before words. He sees anger as a cry for certainty, flirtation as a search for validation, pride as armor against fear. He does not rush to fix or to conquer. He simply observes until patterns reveal themselves. Observation transforms judgment into understanding, and understanding transforms conflict into influence. People follow those who make them feel safe in their own emotions. When someone's presence says, "Your emotion will not drown me," trust is born. This trust is the true foundation of leadership and attraction alike. It cannot be faked. It is the natural consequence of inner calm. The Machiavellian mind knows that power earned through fear is brittle, but power earned through trust endures. Emotional intelligence is the bridge between the two. To wield emotional power ethically, you must accept paradox. Strength requires vulnerability. Influence requires empathy. You cannot inspire people whose pain you refuse to understand. Yet empathy must not erode boundaries. Feel what others feel, but return quickly to your own center. Otherwise, compassion turns to exhaustion. and guidance turns to guilt. Balance is the art of giving warmth without surrendering structure. The heart is the seat of courage. A word itself means to act with heart. Emotional power, therefore, is not the absence of feeling, but the presence of purpose within feeling. When anger arises, direct it toward clarity. When fear whispers, use it as a compass pointing to growth. When love appears, let it humble you, reminding you that power without tenderness is tyranny. The one who integrates both becomes whole, neither saint nor predator, but sovereign. There is a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you can face any emotion and remain intact. It is the calm that makes crowds hush when you enter, the tone that steadies others during crisis. Such composure is not learned in books, it is earned in silence, in the nights when uncertainty presses close and you choose reflection over escape. Every time you endure an emotion without letting it dictate your behavior, you polish the armor of self-respect. Machiavelli might have said that fortune bows to the prepared mind. Emotional power bows to the prepared heart. You prepare it by practicing honesty with yourself, by admitting fear without shame, ambition without apology, affection without dependence. Authenticity is magnetic because it is rare. Pretension demands energy. Truth generates it. When your inner and outer worlds align, you emanate coherence, and coherence is felt as strength. In conversation, coherence expresses itself through tone and timing. You no longer speak to convince, you speak to clarify. You no longer react to insult, you respond to meaning. Every gesture carries intention. People may not know why they trust you, but they do. Emotional power works through resonance, not persuasion. It is the silent agreement between your nervous system and theirs that says, here is steadiness, here is focus, here is direction. True authority, then, is emotional craftsmanship. You sculpt atmosphere with attention, shape dialogue with restraint, and command presence through empathy. You are neither the cold strategist nor the reckless romantic. You are the alchemist combining intellect with intuition. From this union emerges influence that heals rather than harm. The highest expression of emotional power is peace. Not the peace of avoidance, but the peace of integration, where desire and discipline no longer fight. When you reach that point, relationships cease to be battlefields. They become mirrors. Every interaction reflects your state of consciousness. If you remain clear, even hostility loses its claws. You begin to see that others' emotions are simply weather patterns passing across the landscape of your awareness. You can choose to stand in the rain or watch it from shelter. In that shelter, purpose grows. Power without purpose corrodes. Power with purpose creates. Use your emotional intelligence to build spaces where others rise, to lead with steadiness, to love with depth. Influence becomes responsibility. Mastery becomes service. The Machiavellian principle evolves from control to creation. The art of emotional power ends where it began, with awareness. To know yourself so well that no mood can blind you, no praise can corrupt you, no rejection can diminish you. This is sovereignty,
It is not dramatic, it is quiet, like a steady heartbeat beneath the noise of the world. People will feel it before they understand it, and in that feeling lies your true authority. Emotional power is not the fire that burns others. It is the light that endures within yourself, unshaken by the storm. When you master that flame, you no longer chase